Welcome to What a Time to Be Alive, the only podcast counting down everything this week that made you say, what a time to be alive. And now, Patrick Monahan, Kath Barbadoro, and Eli Uden.
Folks, welcome to What a Time to Be Alive, the only podcast that counts down the things each week to make you say the thing that's titled podcast. I'm Patrick Monahan.
I'm Kath Barbadoro.
I'm Eli Uden. Good
Happy
morning.
New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year's.
Happy New
Happy
Year's
New Year.
resolutions.
Our guest this week is Baby New Year.
The
He
baby.
will cry in the background.
The New Year baby. He's here. He's in his little sash. Man,
He
I don't think you could
murdered
put a sash.
old man last year
Yeah.
to claim his rightful throne.
Shouldn't have a baby in a sash. Choking hazard. Don't rolling around in there. Can't leave him alone with the
got a
sash on.
Disaster kitchen situation, like Baby Herman and Roger Rabbit. Bread stacked
Exactly.
vertically on top of the fridge. Just completely insane, contrived situation.
Baby Herman is the one that smokes cigars, right?
Correct.
Okay.
A
for
Baby New
moment
Year
here.
gotta smoke a cigar.
And he walks.
That's
He
important.
he walks through like an actress's legs and looks up her skirt.
Yeah. He's a horny cigar smoking baby.
But if I could for a moment, both of you and our listeners, could I ask you, imagine what a fucking baby that regularly smokes cigars would smell like. It would be, that's the wildest odor I've ever imagined. Like, what the fuck is going on?
I think it would just smell like cigars. That's my take
Oh, yeah?
on it.
I think cigar would maybe
well,
take
depends on
over
if
the
he-
baby smell, but then you got shit smell. You got a lot of other things going on there.
Plus, baby's already not like the most continent, you know, and then all that nicotine from the cigars, he's probably, goo. Oh, brother.
Babies are among the less continent among us.
Yeah. Is that a form of that word? I assume so. Usually I'm more preoccupied with the other version. I'm not usually talking about how continent I am. So
Is it like a gruntled situation?
kind of want to be
Overwhelmed,
gruntled.
perhaps.
Gruntled
I
is
think
good.
continent definitely is a word, though. It's just,
Yeah.
it's one of those things where it's like, we don't say it a lot because we kind of take it for granted.
Right.
Yeah.
It's sort of the default situation.
Count your blessings.
Yeah. You're disillusioned, but you don't want to be like, I'm very illusioned. You know, you don't want to say you got tricked. You got bamboozled. Yeah. And then it's obviously another word. So it confuses you where continent, you know, you're like, oh, you're talking about Asia? No. Talking about me taking good poos. We
talking
talked
about-
right
When I
before we
want
started.
to. Only when I want to. At my discretion.
I'm in control.
Exactly.
We talked before we started. We avoided a toilet story this week because we were like, we talk about toilets a lot. Immediately we're talking about this.
That feels like
It's a
straight
fact of life.
straight out of a pharmaceutical ad. I'm in control. Just like turning
Yeah.
to the camera and kind of pointing at your own chest with your thumb.
I legitimately thought it was. I was like, oh, it makes sense. It's probably from something. It's from
With
ads for
creme
whatever-
creme flow, I'm in control.
with Soitikdu. Soitikdu, dude.
That's right. The names are really, as many have said, are really getting out there. You know?
They're really, that is something where I feel like it is accelerated in the last
Yeah.
few years. Like we're running out of letters.
It's
Not
it's
to
like-
go all Bill the Butcher here, but they're getting a little ethnic for my liking.
It's like
A lot of them ending in O's and A's. They didn't used to do a lot of that in the old days.
they're.
I'm
It's,
not
yeah,
taking
like
any of these ethnic medicines. I don't trust them.
Chinese healthy herbs. But yeah, no, like I feel like it's hacked to make fun of, you know, crazy prescription names, but like I feel like they've realized that, and so they're just going crazy. Like that's the one I got. I mean, I'm just being home, I got, you know, blasted with like an incredible amount of them. Jardiance kind of has a jingle that's like better than it has any right to be, but that's the one that I cannot. It makes me feel like I'm leaving my body every time I see an ad. This is Soitiktu, and then the name of the.
Soitiktu is crazy.
How do you think Soitiktu is spelled?
Soytictu. No, wrong.
Patty, what would our impromptu spelling be of Soitiktu? I can use it in a sentence if you like. I'm taking Soitiktu.
With Soitictu,
6
I'm
milligrams. 6 milligram tablets of Soitictus.
Well, it wasn't SOYTI, so I guess it's SOYTY. But I don't know.
Probably a
beyond that.
Y in there.
I guess.
Oh, there's a Y.
I guess KTU. I highly doubt it's 2 O's at the end. That would really be pushing it.
2 O's at the end is crazy.
I mean,
That's
looking
like
back, my
1930s
pronunciation.
racism spelling of something. 2 O's at the end.
I would say my pronunciation was probably misleading, but also
It comes
it's not a
from
real
deepest,
word.
darkest Africa.
Yeah, exactly.
Sotictu. It's SOTYKTU.
Okay.
Right? And then the name right under that in parenthesis is what the actual medicine
come
is,
on,
which
man.
is
I'm seeing this now.
which is the full name. The full proper name is Soitictu parenthesis deucravacitinib. Hello, my name is
on.
Soitictu.
This is an explosive area of conversation.
And then I searched for Soitictu on Google just now, and then
Sorry to our listeners who take Soitictu. I'm sorry.
Sorry,
You have to-
it's just the names.
I'm sorry
right,
you have
exactly.
to say this word to your pharmacist.
It's
Is
not-
what I'm
it's
sorry.
Our apologies if you have moderate to severe plaque psoriasis.
Right. It's nothing about the.
Also,
the
every
actual
medicine is for
product.
moderate to severe plaque psoriasis.
There
That's
does seem
another
to be a
thing
lot
I've
of that.
noticed.
Yes, there's
Yeah.
a lot of that out there. All right, but in the sponsored on Google, there's something called Tremfia, and in
Yeah,
parentheses, it's Gusel Kumab, and it makes me feel like I'm going insane.
Goji Maka Snackaroons.
The ones that end in
gruesome
like
tunabs.
MAB do make me feel like I'm having a stroke. Like that's not a suffix. That's not how words end.
Wait,
Yeah.
hang on. Okay, so that is also used to treat adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis.
They all are.
They're all. It's
Which makes sense why it was a sponsored ad, but then, like the pop-up on the thing, it says Tremfia was now approved to treat moderately to severe active ulcerative colitis. Like those do not seem like the same medicine could treat both of those things.
It's a miracle drug. We'll all be on it soon.
yeah. I mean, I think it's like.
Shelby has every drug jingle at his fingertips.
Yeah. Do you have the Jardiance one? Because the Jardiance one kind of slaps. I don't remember what Jardiance is for, though.
Jardiance is also one that, like, did they not know that, like, I don't know, Giardia exists? Like, it's
Yeah,
it's,
too
like,
close.
Yeah.
Unless it treats that. In that case, it's fine.
I have type 2 diabetes, but I manage it well. It's a little pill with a big story to tell. I take once daily,
Jardiance.
At each day start.
This does kind of slap.
It was easy to see. I'm lowering my
Clapping along.
A1C.
Jardiance works 24/7 in your body to flush out some sugar. And for adults with type 2 diabetes,
We should get paid to play that.
Yeah. We
Shout
don't-
out to the person
be clear,
who
we
had
don't
to sing
fucking
that, putting in
endorse
some.
this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
don't-
Oh,
we
well,
don't know what any
I
of
would
this shit
hope
does.
that would be clear. Yeah, if you're taking medicine because we're talking about it, oh my god.
Well, that's the entire That's literally all TV advertising.
I mean,
now.
That is true.
That's you should listen to other podcasts if you want them to tell you what medicine to take because there's a lot
Right.
of those out there.
Yeah, check out Magic Mind. It's taken
Yeah.
by multiple sex offenders, alleged sex offenders from the comedy community.
If you want to have the mind of a
We did ads for
stand-up-
Blue Chew.
we
did
did.
do an ad
That's
for
true.
Blue Chew's all right. That's for getting.
That's barely
getting
a
it on.
medicine. I wouldn't even call that a medicine. What's it healing? It's not healing anything.
Yeah, it's just propping something up. It's basically
It's structural.
yeah. You could do that
but
with a
it-
popsicle stick.
Look, an ad is one thing, okay? Just talking about it and saying, "Hey, this is a funny name." It's like, "Oh, I'm gonna eat this pill" is a different thing. It's actually probably less awful. So you know what? I'm not gonna get into it.
Oh, I bet it's like very invasive. A lot of times it's like someone dancing in a field and then it's like a series of injections. It's like a spinal tap. Jardiance is injected into your vertebrae.
Yeah, you have to go in for infusions every 2 weeks that take like 6 hours. They put you
Yeah.
on like a tilt table. It's good stuff.
It's actually you're getting the Wolverine treatment, dude.
Yes. They coat
Coating
your
your
skeleton in
bones
Jardiance.
in
You need a
adamantium.
healing factor to survive the application of Jardiance. Now I can't keep saying it because I'm like starting to dissociate.
I mean, if Wolverine did have moderate to severe plaque psoriasis, it wouldn't last very long, or it would just be constantly being, fought back because he does have
Yeah.
the healing factor. So
Well,
That's
just
like a
Deadpool.
skin thing, right? Skin prob.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, actually.
It does systemic problems also, though, right?
It makes plates on your skin. It's kind of X-Men-y, but in a very bad way. It kind of makes you
Wolverine a little bit, it sounds like. It's a little Wolverine-like.
There's a lot of autoimmune things that are just kind of generally, anyway.
But that would just be a form of weird Deadpool. Don't listen to us
about any of this.
if Deadpool had moderate to severe plaque psoriasis and his healing factor was what, made him regular.
Can you imagine an ad for a pharmaceutical with Deadpool in it?
Well, soon we won't have to imagine.
It would probably be too funny. They'd be like, this is too funny, and people aren't, remembering the name of the medicine.
Banned for being too funny.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be 3 hours long, and it's going to link to a variety of other pharmaceutical ads. Yeah, including several TV series.
There's a post-credit scene where they introduce a new medicine for moderate to severe plaque psoriasis.
You have to have watched an entire TV series to understand this pharmaceutical ad and what's being referenced.
And then Jardiance Blade makes a cameo.
No, that's coming out. That's coming out in 6 years. It's had 4 different directors in the past 2 months. So it's, but they're still. It's the Simpsons. Pig flying in the air. It's just a little airborne. It's still good. It's still good at this point. Which makes sense. It's too hard to crack. A cool guy who kills vampires. That's too hard to make. How could you possibly?
Never made a movie
our
like
best
that
minds
before.
on this.
I can't think of any ideas for this. This is too. Whoa.
Yeah. Mahershala Ali every week joins and leaves like he's in a Zoom with connection problems. He's just constantly leaving and rejoining the movie.
He wanted to do it. Can you imagine this guy wins the Best Actor Oscar? He's like, I want to be Blade, and then they just keep blowing it repeatedly somehow.
Keep blowing him off.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy. It's like he could do literally anything, and he's like, Blade. The thing I want to do is Blade, which that's not crazy. That I totally get.
Right.
But yeah, I'm just...
And just all blue
we got it.
All
we
blue
got it
iMessages from Mahershala Ali. Hey, just checking in on the Blade thing. Just want to emphasize I would like to be Blade.
Hey, dude, no. This time we got it. We figured it out. It's like it's truly crazy that I know that movies are complicated to get made, but that seems like one they could get. They got a lot of other weird crap made in the meantime on the Marvel stuff.
Hey,
what's going
plate's
on?
Pretty
here?
full with Blue Beetle. Hit us back in a couple years. He's like, I have these tribal patterns shaved into the side of my head, and I want to know if I need to keep these or That's the part of the Blade interview. When they ask actors if they'd be willing to shave their beard for a part or whatever. They're like, would you be willing to get tribal designs edged into your hair?
I feel like that's one of those things that you take the role as an excuse to be able to do that.
Oh yeah.
It's like if you do that and you're not Blade, people are like, why are you trying to be Blade? But then when you are playing Blade, you got a total carte blanche to do cool stuff with your hair.
That's because that's like Peter Stormare, dude. Where it's just like he's like, I have to look like a mess. It's part of my thing to have long, stringy, bald man hair and a big beard. He's just like, no, this just helps me.
I always think that about Slow Horses because they make Gary Oldman look so disgusting in that, and he's one of those guys. It's not like. He's not method, but it's the popular understanding of what method is. He kind of does. So I'm like, he must smell bad. He must commit to being disgusting. And I feel like you don't want to hire a guy who does stuff like that to play a disgusting guy. Because then you have to deal with a guy who is actually disgusting.
Yeah. You're allowed to fart on set. It's part of the show.
He's just
awesome.
Stinky and oily. Also, isn't he allegedly a bad stuff doer? So it's like that's part of the job. Yeah, I think he might be. Alleged. I'm happy.
This is an explosive area of conversation.
Gotten 2 of those today already.
He eats
what do you think you signed up for?
He eats even more beans than the average British person to be able to to be locked and loaded.
Right.
Fueling up first thing in the morning with a breakfast of beans.
I'm sure those farts are real. I'm sure they boost them in Foley or whatever. They're doing some enhancement, but they're real.
Yeah.
They come from
the
a
Foley
place of
artists
truth.
also don't. They use they just fart into a microphone.
They're just
like
farting into a microphone. Yeah.
Why mess with success? Let's do it.
Whack, whack.
The Wilhelm fart, the one fart that you can recognize across all 90s comedies.
There probably is one.
There probably is one, yeah. It's the Foley artist. It's one guy's signature. He's like, I always put this fart in, so I'm the one who did it.
The Wilhelm scream is played out. I think they need to replace it with the Roblox. Like, I want to hear that when John would kick somebody out a window.
I am like kind of annoyed when I hear the Wilhelm scream now. I'm like, we get it.
It's a little we get
it.
You
know about movies? Congrats.
Just hit him with the goofy Yahoo hoo hoo. At that point.
Oh, Garsh. Yeah. Hit him with the Garsh.
Hit him with the Garsh.
Should we do numbers?
Let's do it.
Number 5.
Number 5 comes to us from Eric Healed Ankle Edition in the Discord.
Congrats on your healed ankle. Did you take what's it called?
Crimla Flow.
Yeah. Eric got crossed up.
I took
crossed up in a vine.
Snarl Slorl Flow. Okay. It is just like they're putting syllables together in the marketing. Like
Flamictamab.
Like we need to be able to trademark this. What is it going to be? Okay, so this is a story from Birmingham City Center, home of the Peaky Blinders, if I remember right. I'm sure it's the same now.
They probably did this. They're probably responsible.
This was them, maybe.
They're still around. So
they've been their sort of fearsomeness has been reduced to pranks, but they are still around.
They're still around.
They're more of a, legitimate.
The slightest men you've ever seen in hats. They're very scary in fights.
Yeah, just the willowiest criminals.
Yeah, throwing two punches and getting overheated because you're wearing all tweed, all like Harris tweed.
So is everybody else. So there you go. This is from Birmingham. And basically, the huge crowds gathered at the town square, Centenary Square, in Birmingham to celebrate the new year, to welcome 2025 with a fireworks spectacular. And this was something that was promoted over social media, and people came from, I guess, around the country. I mean, around Britain.
Well, that's only like a 45-minute trip.
Well, that's so right. That's yes. Although many Brummies, which I guess is what they call people from Birmingham, went home.
That seems rude. You shouldn't be able to call people that.
The Brummies are the enemies of the Peaky Blinders.
So I guess people saw on social media, and they showed up waiting for fireworks, and there were stormy weather warnings that called off other events, but these people had seen that there were going to be fireworks, and there were no fireworks. It was some kind of scam. It's unclear what the point of the scam was.
The scam was fuck you. The point of the scam was eat
some
shit.
Kind of Joker-like prank.
Yeah. The scam was eat shit. The scam is it's fun to lie.
You stood outside. Yeah, exactly. And the police superintendent put out some kind of statement. There are rumors online that a fireworks display will take place in Centenary Square, but there isn't a planned event this year. And I guess there were people that either didn't see that or were like, I don't know though.
That's what. Yeah, I'm sure. They're wearing their hats that make it look like they flew it, like they came in down Inspector Gadget style, like there's a little copter in there.
That's what they want you to think.
They just want to keep all the fireworks for themselves.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. I want to eat all those fireworks.
We were talking about this before, though, and like this is kind of a great prank because, like, if you go see fireworks, it's not like there's like stuff you can look at to be like, oh, there's definitely going to be fireworks here. It's usually just like go to an empty field where someone told you there would be fireworks, and then
obviously it's set up far away for safety, so you can't. Yeah, it's not like one of these fake conventions where you show up and you're like, oh, there's nothing in here. Right, it's just an empty room. You're like show up to an empty room and you're like, I guess I'm first. First one here. And see the fireworks.
This is insult to injury, I guess, because there's not a ton of story here. But this is the Daily Mail. They pivot midway through this to be like, meanwhile, in London, although many Brummies went home disappointed, crowds in London were stunned by a world-first Paddington Bear cameo appearance within the London Eye. So they did some kind of hologram where Paddington is in the eye of London.
They've trapped him in there.
This is crazy.
This is a Doctor Who special.
Paddington
They've
Bear
trapped
made an
Paddington
appearance
in the London Eye, the most evil thing anyone has ever done.
Yeah,
Paddington Bear actually made an appearance in the Tower of London. He's a prisoner.
That's right.
Yeah, he plunged. Paddington Bear plunged off the Tower of London at midnight. But this image is crazy because I guess they have it set up with some sort of projector LEDs where, like, inside the eye, inside the circle is like a fairly accurate, like a much higher resolution than I would think image of Paddington.
He looks
but
much
it looks
like Paddington, who is real.
Yeah, it very much looks like Paddington is peering into our universe through a portal and is much bigger than we thought he was. It's like, it's like that one of the like evil Santa walking down the street and he's like 40 feet
hell
tall.
Yeah, man. That's good shit. He's in they have like a version of that, the boob portal. I don't know what else to call it. The one where everyone immediately got naked in front of it and they had to close them all like instantly.
One of the many structures.
Paddington Bear also
regretted.
showed his boobs in the London Eye, and
Well,
they had to shut it down quickly.
The thing about Paddington is, like, when you think fireworks and stuff, you think Ben Whishaw, like, kind of saying, "Hello, I'm Paddington, Happy New Year," which is, so I guess there was like, shut up, everyone shut up. Like, they were just like, did they have fireworks that displayed shut up so he can talk, or did he just kind of wave and then go away, eating a marmalade sandwich, whatever. But so that's it. And then so this is, I guess this technique is called hologauze.
Yeah, I was about to say hologauze, which is that is an item. That's
hologauze. You like break a brick and that comes out and is glowing.
Yeah, hologauze. To repair you were shot with a laser gun, you have to get hologauze.
Yeah, no, that fixes the thing you get shot with in Ghostbusters. If you're a ghost, you get fixed with hologauze.
I have cyberbleed. I need to heal it with hologauze. That's kind of the vibe there. Yeah. Well, not a bad consolation prize, I guess. If instead of nothing. Which,
I wouldn't call it a consolation prize unless you very quickly somehow got from Birmingham to London to be able to watch that after being officially confirmed nothing's happening. Paddington apparently said, no matter what happens, London will always be a city of hope and a home for everyone. So that's nice. Thank you to Paddington.
I feel like Paddington might have some insight on what the future and is trying to keep people calm.
Yeah, I'm not sure about no matter what happens there. Maybe we don't need to hear that.
His universe that he entered from the portal is like, a couple years ahead of ours, so he knows. Yeah. He knows what's going to happen.
Okay, I'm going to send.
Well, their timeline is different because of the existence of Paddington. You couldn't measure the effects it's had.
He changed a lot of things.
Yeah. He did. Changed a lot of lives.
Paddington ate a butterfly, and now the whole world is different.
So I'm going to
send.
Speaking of, quickly.
Sorry. Go ahead, Patty.
I was going to send you an image from the article here. There's a guy in an Austin Powers outfit for some reason.
Good for him.
But in the background, there's some kind of mascot walking. I don't know, like a Bluey or something.
Yeah, what is that? It's a bulldog.
Uncommented on.
Alone, too. A mascot walking alone.
Right. Guy who broke up with his girlfriend or something that's in the, like, oh, fuck this. I'm going home.
He's walking home, yeah.
But,
Just out for a stroll.
If you're going to be Austin Powers, look, I this is why I wouldn't do it. I think you got to shave the beard. I think you got, you got to
shave the beard. Yeah. It is like a costume where, like, if you're not going to do the character, you shouldn't do it.
You got to go all in.
You got to. I would think
I've got a beard, man. Just like doing that, like for the whole time. It's like, no, that's not real. It's not it.
It's almost surprising they like Austin Powers because he is a very mean caricature of a
crude
British
stereotype.
Man. Yeah. Like he's got every like bad stereotype about English people, except that he's very horny. English people not famously very horny. Unless they see some
an Austin Powers
stems,
thing.
Unless they see some long stems of
slim pins,
some slim pins. Yeah.
That is,
man.
The
If
British
you see somebody going,
pins.
if you see someone going hell for leather, watch out.
Lord have mercy, I'm about to bust.
Oh my god!
Lord have mercy, I'm about to bust.
We heard it.
Yeah, we heard
it came through.
Is that the guy in the jar? Who is, like that? Sounds like the guy in the.
Like the guy in the jar. The guy stuck in the vase, aka the guy in the jar.
Damn it! Lord have mercy, I'm about to bust.
I mean, is that before and after getting out of the vase? I don't understand.
He meant he was about to bust the vase open because he was stuck. That's
guy in the jar, very disrespectful. Sorry to the guy. like he's a butterfly someone caught.
Yeah, he's a homunculus. He's the man in the jar. Yeah.
I was going to ask him about New Year's because in New York on New Year's, there was a pretty serious thunderstorm.
Oh, yeah.
Like during the festivities. So it was just like Armageddon for dogs, like the worst day of a dog's life. How did Iggy do? I know Patty was out of
care
town,
at all.
so Liza was okay. Probably.
I partly didn't go out because I was worried. I was going to go to possibly downstairs Dan's place, but I was like, I don't want to find out that she reacts to fireworks by like shitting in someone else's house. She didn't care at all. I walked her in the middle of the fireworks and she was just kind of trotting
good for
along.
her.
Yeah, good for her.
What?
Probably because she's been bomb-proofed by 2 years of unpleasant living. But
Probably,
for that reason, it works out.
Yeah, Liza is, of all things, she's afraid of a lot of stuff for seemingly no reason, but she's not. Fireworks did not really give her a hard time, so that's good.
Cool
I
with
guess.
noises.
We've covered.
Yeah, Zelda has no problem with noises. The thing she gets like weird about is smells. If I like leave the window open and I can see her like sniff the air and then like dive under the bed, and I'm like, what's out there? I can't smell anything.
I've had to stop burning like scented candles because it confuses her seemingly, and she gets weird. She's like, "What? Where are we? This is a different place." She's truly transported. We've talked about how the things that scare her are every sound off of a Halloween sound effect album. Creaky door.
That's just normal.
Rattling.
I'm scared of those things.
Yeah, fair.
They're scary.
Who wants to hear
Trash
that?
bags. How do you guys feel about trash bags? Because
I'm okay with them. I've made peace with them.
Necessary evil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't love it, but
friend of the pod, Lizzie Cassidy, was talking on stage, I think, or something. She used to bomb-proof horses. Weird, she was like worked at a horse place. Horse place? I don't know what they're
Bomb-proof
called.
horses?
Stable?
Horse place.
Yeah. It's like you work with
Bomb-proof?
They call it bomb-proofing, but it's basically you work with them to make sure they don't freak out. You expose them to stuff so that they don't. Because an 8-pound dog freaking out, not a huge problem. A horse freaking out. And she said
big
that
issue for everyone, yeah.
that was the thing. It was like no matter how much bomb proofing they did, a plastic bag floating in the wind just is never okay. Like it's. I think she said she's like
them for it.
Yeah, she's like they will think that's a ghost 100% of the time. It's never. You can't.
That's why
get
they
over
freak
it.
out, because it confirms that the afterlife exists to them, and horses are not ready for that possibility.
They think it's Jacob Marley. They're going to see a series of 3 bags over the course of the night.
Marley and Marley. Whoa.
Let's do number 4.
Number 4.
Number 4 comes to us from Chill Sim in the Discord. If you would like to submit stories for us to talk about, join our Patreon at the $10 a month level, patreon.com/whatatimepod, and you'll get access to our private Discord channels where you can submit stories such as this one. This is one of those ones that's like, it's great for journalism broadly, but for our purposes, I hate when we get a well-written story because it means I have to read it to like find out the information.
Deeply reported.
When something is deeply reported, if it starts with like a description of the person who this thing happened to, I'm like, oh brother.
Yeah. We're getting the full New York Times.
Joseph
treatment.
Pulitzer over here.
Right. A searing investigation. So this poor woman, her name is Betta Corey. She is from the Bronx, and she is a Star Trek fan. And for a while, she had a vanity license plate that was NCC 1701, which is the identifying tag of the USS Enterprise from Star Trek. Cute. Very cute, right? Fun thing to do with your car. So she had those for a while, and then she was like, I don't want to pay for these anymore. So she had them for like, I guess this is kind of sad. Her ex-husband purchased them. And I guess after they got divorced, she was like, I don't need these anymore. So she gets rid of them. But then ever since then, she has been getting tons of tickets for these plates in the mail, like, the camera tickets and stuff. And the reason for this is because they sell a plate on Amazon that it's like a New York plate with this NCC 1701, and it's like a gag gift or whatever, but it's a New York City plate. Like, it looks like a New York plate. So people are buying these and then doing car crimes, just like entering warp speed in their
First I thought it might be just unlucky because like unlike most vanity plates, NCC 1701 is possibly like you could just get that.
You could get it, yeah.
And it probably isn't well known enough to be like skipped, but the fact they're selling it on Amazon, first of all, can't be legal. Like you can't buy a fake license plate that looks like that. You can't sell that, right?
I was surprised by how like real it looks. Like
yeah.
There's nothing on it that immediately identifies it as not a New York plate.
Well, speaking of eat shit scams, this has stuck with me. It was so funny where I went to Mexico for a wedding, and while we were there, they sold, like they were everywhere in every sort of like tourist shop, whatever. They had license plates that were made up of like fake cut up license plates that said like, like Viva, I don't know, Mexico shit. And they're selling them everywhere. And then when we flew back, when you walk into customs, there was a legitimate dedicated sign of those license plates and said, these are illegal. You cannot bring them back. So there's so many people with these fucking useless pieces of sheet metal they've been carrying around, and they aren't cheap. And like immediately they're like, you cannot. No, we know about these and you cannot bring them in. So I'm really surprised that but I mean, that's how Amazon does this stuff too, right? They keep themselves like just insulated enough from anything that's sold on their platform that they don't have to deal with it.
It's sold by a store called Celebrity Machines Store.
Oh, okay.
So cool stuff.
Why Jessica? My Why Jessica license plates. Yeah,
it's all license plates. They have an Ass Man, Abort.
They have Lawyer Up. They have the Saul
Zoinks.
Goodman one. Ass Man.
Yeah, they got Ass Man.
Yeah.
I mean, like I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't really understand the appeal of this per se.
To put on your stolen car, or
right?
Like your unregistered
but like
car.
as a like Star Trek nerd or
for non-illegal purposes, you don't understand
Like, I mean, was there something? And if you said it, I missed it. I'm sorry, but is there something about like a New York license plate in Star Trek? Like, do they ever? Is there like a scene where they're like in an alternate universe and it's on like somebody's motorcycle or something? You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand.
I don't
why a New York
so.
State license plate that says the Star Trek call sign. You know what I mean?
Well, they
or the
sell
Enterprise call sign.
It looks like they sell other NCC 1701 ones, so I think it's just like you get it if you like Star Trek and live in.
Oh, it's like if it was here, it's
But that seems like they could avoid the whole thing, like Patty's saying. It just should be space or whatever,
Right. It should say USS Enterprise.
They have ones that are like that. They're just kind of like a silver thing, but it's not authentic. But neither is this. This is less authentic. Like it makes less sense to be like this.
Well, this woman is being charged, according to the DMV.
This woman has been jailed.
According to the DMV, she owes over $16,000 in tickets.
This woman is in the brazen ball, brother.
That's median New York City car driver.
That is true.
If you check like the bad boy, whatever the website is, people
the bad
go
boy
to
list.
See the existing violations and. It's like, this car has 300 speeding through a school zone citations or whatever, and it's very cool.
Awesome.
And they still have their license, and no one's doing anything about it. We love it.
Also, the person they hit with their car is going to jail for some reason.
Right, that's right.
yeah. Obstruction. They were blocking the box or whatever.
Right. The cops found like weed on them. So.
Yeah.
And they're trying
they
to
were
go
blocking the
after
box with their body. Yeah.
the most important people in this city, the people who decide to drive their cars in sometimes instead of taking any other trains or anything, are under attack effective tomorrow unless this last minute appeal holds out, or effective yesterday, I guess. So I guess we'll know.
They really
today.
are acting like it's a death penalty pardon that they're waiting on. Like, it's so dramatic, these people. Yeah. My rights, you put it perfectly, Patty. It's like they're infringing on my rights as a person who sometimes drives into the city when I feel like it.
Yeah.
Like, how dare you?
And like there are big, and I look, I know there are businesses that rely on all that kind of stuff, and there probably should be some kind of thing. But I mean, the a small everyday, blah, I just don't want, and I just don't want to hear it. Enough.
Yeah. Not to mention, there's like incredibly effective transit system to take you from New Jersey to New York. They could use most of the time, like NJ Trans and all that. So it's not like, but they're like, well, I'm just supposed to die because I can't buy food anymore. It's like, no, it's what are you talking about? We're talking about the congestion thing, I assume, for anyone who's not clued in, because you don't have weirdos that do this.
You are hyper local politics.
You're not paying attention to every. Yeah, right.
I was going to say it's funny that like this just really cements also like Star Trek level of nerd stuff, because it is kind of like the call sign on a spaceship is its license plate, right? So they're like, and that seems like the stuff that Star Trek people would be into, because isn't that what the show is? They're like, it's politics in space, and I'm like, well, I would prefer anything else in space, actually. If I'm going to go into another realm.
I don't know if it's politics in space.
I always
feel
hear
like
that.
That's what it's about.
Politics in space.
That's what that Star Wars show is. That's what people always say about that Star Wars show. But it's politics in space.
I guess I always heard the nerd
Tony Gilroy one.
Hold out that it's like Star Trek is the politics when Star Wars is the more until they got into the Senate, until they got into Yaddle.
I think it might be because like Gene Roddenberry had like sort of a utopian view of the future. So like it's not like about politics, but it is sort of vaguely woke, I would say.
They're always doing diplomacy on their damn big
They
screen.
do a lot of diplomacy.
It has it has a philosophy in a way that Star Wars is just kind of like an epic story, like hero cycle thing, for sure.
They're always doing.
And of course, then it has
a diplomat with 80 years. You know,
and then of course, as Eli said, you get into the Senate with Yaddle,
with Yaddle and all that.
Right, like that to me is more politics. Like I don't want there to be anything about the Senate.
Right,
I don't want to know about the Senate.
That's kind of where Star Wars, once it gets less mystical, it's like, why don't we just stick to like kind of the magic stuff?
Yeah.
You know, we don't need to know
Tell me about the Force.
The trade deals with the weird Asian aliens. You know, that's not.
Yeah, where do you fall on the?
The guys who I always think of as the "we had an agreement" guys. And it's like, that's what I want to hear.
Get them out.
Oh, good.
No, we had an agreement, guys.
Oh, somebody with a tail on their head and a robe on is about to get 20 minutes of screen time? Boy, the edge of my seat is worn thin.
A weird-looking guy doing a filibuster is still boring. It's still a filibuster.
Like when the lightsaber noise hits off screen and you suddenly are lit up red, it's like, we had an agreement. You know, that's not where you want to be.
Oh, C-SPAN's boring? What if everyone was on a balcony? Huh? How about that?
Yeah.
You like that shit?
What if some of the people on C-SPAN were blue? How about that?
But the balcony's moved. Does that help you at all? Does that do anything for you?
Yaddle is there.
Around.
All right, now I'm sort of in.
And C-SPAN featuring Yaddle.
Yeah, it should be you should just know which way it's going to go for each movie, because I'm like, it's a spectrum of Yaddle to Babu Freak. I want more Babu Freak material. I want more.
Hey.
Like thinking about Babu. I'm not even a Star Wars fan, and Babu Frick makes me so happy every time I think about him. Whoa, hey! Man, they don't know how good they have that shit. Just pilots yelling, "Wow!" That's Why is there not like a pod racing limited series? Just those guys, just all Sebulba for me.
Sebulba, the way he's putting
it's
his
wacky
hand,
races, but with
Sebulba,
Babu Freak.
What is that? I can't remember the
pod racing is wacky races basically.
It is
episode 1 is kind of wacky races in space.
Yeah, only there's a kid racing to be allowed out of slavery. As part of the wacky
just
race.
like wacky races. You know,
that was a subtle, undertone subplot of Wacky Races is that they were racing for their freedom.
Yeah,
I can't remember that. There's a tweet that's like Sebulba, the way he put his hands all over the Laker girls, disgusting, or something like that. That I think about whenever I hear Sebulba. So,
Sebulba, just. Horse. Hey, what's your
what
idea for a new
mind?
character? Kind of a horse.
I'm in awe of the mind that comes up with Sebulba, the way he put his hands all over the Laker girls. Disgusting.
Oh, hang on. I found it. I'll read it and credit.
Yeah, that's
see.
like something you'd find like in a journal of someone who is like gone. You know,
you woke up in the middle of the night and wrote that down, and then went back to sleep.
Yeah, that would be like a puzzle in like Silent Hill. You'd be like, what?
Okay, yeah.
It's like, what chess piece do I put in the wall based on Sebulba put his hands all over the Laker girls?
Yeah, this is a Branson from E1, Necro Branson on X. I was disgusted to see the Lakers honor Sebulba at halftime. Even during the ceremony, he had his hands all over the Laker girls. absolutely zero class. So there we go.
Beautiful.
Just let that take up residency in your mind like it has in mine.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, folks. If you're enjoying this episode, you'll probably also enjoy our bonus episode. We do one every single week. They're all up on our Patreon, patreon.com/whatatimepod. There are hundreds of them there, including this week's.
We discuss the alleged possible alternate persona of Elon Musk known as Adrian Dittman and a recent Twitch stream he did with Connor Eats Pants in which he got absolutely diced up for multiple hours.
And we're sorry about that, talking about that. We also have our regular episodes ad-free on the Patreon feed. So that's another benefit of joining up. Patreon.com/whatatimepod. Check it out.
Number 3?
Number 3.
Number 3.
Speaking of delightful creatures, we got a classic creature story here. This story was sent to us by Burlington Cheesecoat Factory, and it is a story of a bear in Japan. And, you know, bears do be getting into houses and residences. I think they're getting better at it. There should be more coverage. Like the
They're
killer
trying to
whales.
domesticate themselves.
Yeah, like the killer whales where they figured out they can fight ships and win a lot. I think bears are also kind of like cracking doors. Like they're kind of getting into it. They're kind of figuring it out. It's not a hugely complicated mechanism. They're the right size. I think
it might be hard if you have a huge hand and no thumb. I think it might be hard.
Knobs, but I feel like if it's a, turn handle, and that's a natural bear movement. It's built to be pawed at and open. So this is...
we know they can open a car door without much difficulty based on recent events.
That's true.
Yeah. And crawl around in there and rub the dashboard in a very bear-like manner.
Kind of brace themselves up against when they're trying to shift around in the back.
Adjust the lumbar in the passenger seat as bears do.
It is kind of weird that other animals don't brace themselves. Why haven't they figured that out? Never seen one do it.
Liza does she'll do some bracing. She'll as kind of it's like a mix of bracing and like you stay like close by, but I'm locking my little elbow to like keep in my knee here.
It just does read as like such a human movement somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
They do that like lock in. Dogs have that when they don't want to go a certain direction, and they really do like mount on the ground. Like they
that's
clutch.
Fun. Yeah. I wish like that is dogs have like an incredible power in that they have this like ability to make themselves really heavy.
Oh yeah.
Just like how do they do that?
They dig
just,
in those fucking mud hooks, dude. They're like, it's crazy.
They know exactly what like position to be in to distribute their weight so that they're like impossible to move.
Yeah. Like
it's crazy.
NFL offensive linemen should be studying how my 8-pound dog can like pull me, like stop me. Like I'm walking at over 200 pounds and I get like, it looks like I got clotheslined because she just dug in the damn mud hooks behind me. Because she's trying to eat a piece of paper towel off the ground. But so this bear got into a home, and apparently, so this is a thing in Japan that I'm very mad does not exist here. I guess I could make one. It does seem like a massive fire hazard, to be fair. It's something called a kotatsu, which is basically a low table with, I think the blankets are naturally kind of like blankets coming off the sides like a tablecloth, but the top is still flat and a flat surface. But the big thing here is that there's a heater under the table. So it's like...
Yeah, these are genius. I don't know why these haven't...
This is awesome.
There are so many... Americans are so Japanophilic. Why have we not brought this over? This is... Yeah. I would trade this for, like, most anime. We can give all that back. Give us the table with the heater under it.
Dude, you don't need to. What'd you say? Fuck me for?
Yeah. Let's not be hasty. Let's not be hasty here. Whoa! Come on now.
I just love this. I love the table with the heater under it and the blanket sides. It's so good.
It's like a heated table with a quilted blanket around the sides, and there's even pictures and explanations that like the top of it is a regular table. So you can like, and they say like you put snacks on there, and you can kind of like eat the snacks and then go lay back down and shove under the. It's like all right.
Do you go under the table? I thought.
You can tuck yourself. No, you can
go underneath.
You
it.
lay down with the table, like with your.
American culture is we're chair cells. We're two chairs.
Yeah.
We are chair cells.
We're not sitting on that floor.
That's why we can't do the squat either. That'll blow my
true.
damn knees out. So this bear got in, and the guy came in, and as you can imagine, a small warm enclosure with
Can't
possibly
wait to use this next time I have the flu.
Yeah, this is me when I have the
seems
flu.
Ideal flu contraption for sure.
Yeah, I was eating licorice in my bed. That's this kotatsu hours. But so yeah, as you can imagine, a heated sort of den enclosure with possibly snacks on top of it is like this bear entered the house, probably to go check around and see what's in here or whatever, but saw the kotatsu and was like, oh, this is where I need to be.
This is it.
Yeah, this is 100% it. And so when he came in, the bear was in the kotatsu. He walked in and saw the bear's ass poking out of one end of it.
So cute. Aww.
It's cute when you can't get mauled after it.
You gotta back out of that room.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Treasure the image.
Yeah, so he walked in, he saw a bear's ass poking out of the heated table. He backed out, I assume, and then went to a neighbor's house, called the local hunting association, told them there's a bear in my living room. And then he went back to check on what the bear was up to. And the bear was still under it, but was also now eating the snacks off the table. So
Nice.
full on.
I'm imagining bear ass sticking out, and then occasionally you just see a big paw reach up onto the table, grab a snack, pull it back down under the table.
And so they reported it. Eventually they came and tranquilized it. They set off firecrackers to scare it out.
Sounds like he was already kind of tranquilizing himself.
Yeah, exactly.
He was relaxed under there.
They tranquilized him, and then they just carried him and transferred him to a deep area of the mountains and left him there. And I'm like, this is a great fucking day, dude. He just sat under a warm table, ate a bunch of snacks, and then had a real great nap, real deep sleep.
Fell asleep. Yeah.
And then got taken home. Got carried home. So yeah, and they say it remains unclear exactly what caused the bear to enter the home and camp out in the kotatsu. We know. What do you mean it remains unclear? It's a bear. He's trying to get in a warm place with food.
He found a den. Like, that's where they live. They know what a den is.
Yeah.
So they found one in this house, and they were like, well, it's not my den, but it is like where I'm supposed to stay, where I'm supposed to be.
And apparently part of the reason they moved him out deep into the mountains is because they say they're worried, but I would be sure that the bear would be like, I'm going back to that. Whatever that was, I want some more. So they're worried. Apparently it happens sometimes where if they get into your house, that's now a place they can go. That's now in their head is like, here's an option for me.
Yeah, they unlocked that environment
yeah.
in their...
This is a biome I have access to.
Right.
Yeah.
Hopefully that bear can't tell other bears about this.
Yeah. So, yeah.
You got to just get into as many of these places as you can. There might be one in there. You know?
Yeah. There's not. And honestly,
if nothing else, they're warm inside.
What's the worst that happens to you as a bear doing this?
Some little guy comes in and screams, and you're like, all right.
Yeah.
all right.
There's not a lot of
take it easy.
Like very high reward, low risk behavior for a bear. I mean, you're probably not going to get shot for real because nobody wants to do that.
You're going to have a good nap, either under your own volition because you're under a nice warm table, or someone's going to trank you. So good nap either way. Nice rest.
I would do if the punishment for something was I might get tranked, I would just do it whenever I felt like it. I'd be like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, I guess it depends on
as long as you're not like operating heavy machinery.
Yeah, I don't have a job in this scenario. I guess I'm a bear.
If the trank is, I do it. If the trank is like they put it in some peanut butter and then I'm like, ooh, peanut butter, and I eat it. I'm not doing it if the trank is getting shot into me. That sounds
it's just
like
a dart.
It hurts. It sounds like it hurts.
Yeah, you're probably out pretty fast. Ouch, whatever.
Yeah, I think you got a bruise. I think it's no good. I want to be tricked into eating a treat with it in it. That's what I want.
Oh, yeah. Pill.
Leave me a delicious cupcake with a benzo inside.
Look, I don't care what's in it. Just leave me a delicious cupcake.
Leave me a delicious cupcake. We'll
Just
figure out the details later.
Do a Hostess with, sleeping cream inside.
Sleeping cream.
Sleeping cream. They're
Yes.
calling it sleeping cream.
That's one of those drug ads was for Mimiblab, and it's
sleeping cream. Got to put on my sleeping cream. Eat my sleeping cream.
I mean, I kind of do put on sleeping cream. It just doesn't
Mimiblab.
make me go to sleep. It's just like, here's the 900 step skincare I do so that I ease into bed just like covered in jelly.
Yeah. There's that with like melatonin sometimes that
Fatty
it's
hates
approaching.
that.
That's Cat gets in every night. Cat gets in the milk like a precog.
Basically, yeah. If I could get in the milk, I would. Like
in the
if someone's like the milk's good for your skin and you can sleep in it, I probably would.
I hadn't really thought about it, but I assume that milk is very warm if there's just people laying in it all the time, right?
It's probably body temp.
Yeah,
Probably body temp. That
yeah.
lactic acid's good for your skin.
They got to have a lot of antibacterials or something in there, because otherwise that's a breeding ground for bacteria.
It's not raw milk, that's for sure.
Precogs would have like mad lesions. They'd be covered in like growths and stuff. Look like a damn swamp thing.
Anyway,
They're all
what were we talking about?
they're all shrivelly.
Yeah.
They're pruny for sure.
They'd be in a block of cheese. They would have solidified into a curd, a whey. The precog tanks are
separating
into
out the curds. Yeah, there's a guy. Yeah,
you got to skim the curds off the precog
Incredible
tank.
prank putting rennet in the milk from the
Yeah. Squirt some lime juice in the
rennet on
precog
the
tank.
precogs.
Making a cement mixer with the precog tank. Anyways, should we do number 2?
Yes.
Number 2.
Number 2. This is celeb news this week. This is from The Revenge of Bussy D'Amboise, and it is about Robert Pattinson, who I feel like this is like sort of a known thing, but I guess they wrote an article about it in Variety because he flew too close to the sun with it, I think, and he said something too crazy. But he is known for just like making shit up in interviews. And I guess he told an interviewer, which I guess this was a while ago, but they're writing about it. I guess he did this on Twilight when he was in Twilight, which is pretty funny. He said that when he was a kid, he saw a clown die in a little car explosion. That's what he told an interviewer on a press junket. I guess he gave another interview reflecting on this and was just like, he watched it and he said, there was absolutely no hesitation at all in my voice. I'm like, what on earth are you possessed? So he's like, why did I do this?
Yeah. Clown was trapped inside the tiny car.
Yeah. So he
pounding
says,
on the glass with his little hands.
yeah, it was
Squeaking.
traumatizing. It's what made him want to be an actor, to subvert that pain into art.
Well, the clown stepped on the gas, and then his long shoe got stuck in the well, and then he accelerated
Final
into a
Destination
bollard.
style.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Yep.
Yeah, that did happen in Final Destination.
The clown dies. Yeah.
The famous clown highway scene.
Yeah.
The clown
Car
avoids
explodes, all this confetti comes out, and then it just bursts into a fireball.
The clown avoids a fatal accident at the circus, and then death pursues him to even this, balance the damn scales. Anubis demands the death of the clown. All right?
Yeah.
And, yeah. Yeah.
How did they not make another one of those? That feels like a wonder. Did they just keep making those forever? Just do
that is the Wilhelm scream of like shenanigans.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
They could put one of those out every October forever.
Yeah.
They don't have the right. They got to just hire new minds to come up with the Rube Goldberg death scenarios. And
those movies are great.
Yeah.
They're fun.
Turn it into a procedural.
That highway scene with the logs. That was a sort of
in your mind forever.
Mind altering, exactly. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to get my head smashed by one log through the windshield. Like, yeah, that's.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I feel like for people our age, it's like people who saw Jaws and stopped going into the ocean. It's like, I will not drive behind a log. a
Yeah.
log truck anymore. I will get on the other side of it because I'm like, one of those things is going to come flying off and go through my windshield.
And then
No
they
question.
only got better because they turned from just being like someone's going to die to being like everyone knows that they're about to die in a weird way. So it becomes this like Mr. Magoo like Lemmings style thing of them like walking through a series of things that just barely miss them. You know, it's like those ones are the best. I always have one where the guy's like working out in a gym. And he's like, you think he's going to die from the machine, but then he like knocks an axe off the wall and it chops his head off. And I was like, yeah, dude.
Sorry, now I'm just thinking about Mr. Magoo in a Final Destination movie.
Unkillable.
It'd be pretty hard to
Unkillable.
kill. Yeah.
That would be a good one because you could do the whole movie like that. And then at the end, he finally gets it.
It's
he dies peacefully in his sleep at the end.
Yeah. Well, they're like old Flash games where you did that, where there'd just be like somebody kind of ambling along and you had to like plug up all this stuff that was going to get them.
That's like that video game where it's like you can either play as a baby or as the baby's parent. And if you play as the baby, your goal is to die. And if you play as the parent, your goal is to not let the baby die.
Oh, yeah. That's
so you're just game. Like, you spend the whole game being like, I'm trying to crawl in the oven. I need to get in that oven.
It's a very good game to watch. I recommend
it's very funny.
Watching it. Yeah, just beelining for the oven.
Yeah.
Let me in there.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Man. So yeah. This isn't even my story. I just got deep.
No,
in this.
Robert Pattinson. So he says that when he was like when he first did Twilight and he had to go through all these because there was so much press around it and stuff, he said he would just sort of, quote, go into a fugue state in these like long press junkets and just start like talking out of his ass and making stuff up. Because I used to do these when I worked in TV in Austin, and like they just have to answer the same 3 questions over and over again, and they're usually really boring.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's just like, I would just like either make stuff up to entertain myself or just like not know, like us doing the podcast, not know what I said after I'm done with it.
He was also
go ahead.
It was like he was on record as hating Twilight, and so like it's probably they were probably happier to have him just make stuff up because he's like, well, I can't say what I want to say, which is that this movie is dog shit, and I wish I wasn't in it.
It's crazy that the 2 leads in those really bad movies, in which they are both bad, their acting in those movies is not good. They are like 2 of the best actors of their generation, and they were in those movies being really bad, and that's how they got their start.
They freed them up certainly financially to do whatever they want, so they can be creative. There's not a lot of pressure to do anything that isn't.
It's just like hats off to the casting director of those movies. Like, they really did a good job. It's just unfortunate that the movies are not good.
Fairly unsalvageable.
Not the casting
scripts.
director's fault. Yeah, pretty bad.
What am I say it? Yeah, there's no way to
bad source material, bad script. They look weird. I've watched them because we've done master pancakes of them. Real stinky. No good.
They walk around during the day too. Is that true?
Yeah, they sparkle
but they have to
in
like
the sunlight.
be in the shade.
No, they sparkle when they're in light, right?
That's why they live in the Pacific Northwest. Because when they get hit with full sun, they're sparkly and they can't let people.
They don't die though.
No,
they don't die. No.
What the fuck?
They play baseball.
Hey, look, I'm not gonna.
They love baseball. They hit the ball really far.
It's time. Yeah. It's time to litigate how realistic Twilight is in terms of vampire lore.
It's unrealistic. They're not like the real vampires. This isn't accurate to how
do they have
real
a count?
vampires
Do they have
are.
a counting thing? Yeah, I need to know the
if they knock over, that's
I
how
saw
she
some
finds
tweet
out.
that was very made me think about that. Where someone was like, "My dad saw Nosferatu," and he was like, "Why don't they just attack him during the day?" And I was like, "Because they haven't seen Dracula. They don't know."
Yeah.
Why would they know that?
Yeah. It's you got to have that suspension of, it's like every zombie movie where they're like they've never seen it and they give them a weird name. They're like the runners. It's like
the
they're
walkers.
Zombies. You mean the zombies?
The biters.
Yeah.
The biters.
They're nibblers. We're surrounded by the nibblers.
The walkers. Ugh. Get out of here, dude.
I don't even know.
I'm sorry, zombie doesn't exist. Zombie is like voodoo. Like it's from
it's from a thing that's
there.
real. Yeah.
Seems like that'd be more likely to exist there, and given that that they're real also.
It's all like and zombies and all those and Dracula vampires. It's like all rabies. It's all just like people who had rabies and people were like, well, that guy is a monster. I don't know what, but he's trying to bite everybody. So something's wrong. Yeah.
This like Robert Pattinson thing, like on the one hand, I am like sympathetic and this is funny. On the other hand, like because I've had to be the person asking the questions, I also am like, this is like part of your job is that you have to do this. And it is like annoying when you're like, everyone here is just trying to do their job. We all know this like kind of sucks and isn't interesting, but everybody has to get their little clip. If you want people to come see your movie, we all have to do this. Like, I don't know. Part of me is a little like, deal with it, man. You're getting paid millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you're gonna be a
fake
brat,
the funk a little bit. That's like part of being an actor. You have to pretend like you're interested in things that you're not interested in.
If you're gonna be a brat, at least be like a fun one like this, and not
That's
like
true. That's true. At least he's having a good time.
Not like an unpleasant one.
Yeah, this is a good way to express it instead of just being like, fuck this interview and walking out or whatever. Yeah, it's not their, it's not the interviewer's fault that this is the 33rd of one of these you've done or whatever.
And like, I don't know. I remember when I was doing these interviews, like I also felt like it was an imposition. I already felt like, I'm sorry that I have to do this to you. Like, I know this sucks. It was weird though, because like, since we were a comedy show, we were always trying to think of like ways to not ask those 3 questions or whatever. Like we would almost never do that. We would try to come up with like weirder or funnier things to do with our like 15 minutes of interview time. And sometimes people were into it because they were like, oh my God, finally a break from the 3 questions. Like finally there's like something else here that could be like fun to do. And sometimes people were just like, absolutely not. Like, get me out of here.
I already have my answers to these questions. I have my one story that I tell in response to the one question.
Yeah. Especially because we were just like a local, like it's not like they knew who we were or like had any respect for us at all. So like, I get why they wouldn't necessarily play along, but it was just like, what do you want? I know this is bad. We're trying to make this better. Like, don't be an asshole.
Because it's probably a volume thing where the thing is like, even if you decide you're going to be the person who comes in with like, Nardwuar level, like at that point, they just don't want to talk to anyone. They're not going to be like, whoa, how'd you learn about that? They're just like, this is like harder now for them or whatever. Plus, I bet if you try to have like a real interview, probably some PR person's going to step in and be like, what the fuck are you doing? Don't do this. Just ask if you like the vampires or what, Just
grabbing Nardwuar.
What was your
by
favorite
the
part
lapels.
about making this movie? Yeah.
What was your favorite part about making this movie? Something you'd ask a 2-year-old. Like, it's just, yeah.
I ask every single movie, no matter what movie it is, how did you guys keep from cracking up on set?
That's a good one.
Like Schindler's List.
Yeah.
How are you guys keeping it together?
It's like, well, it's very serious, so I don't.
What is the zone of interest? Come on, you guys were
Come on.
holding it in.
The zone of interest ending with a blooper reel of people breaking,
or just like pretending that like Beetlejuice is a real guy, like not understanding. It's like, all right, so what's it like working with Beetlejuice?
I feel like that's the kind of thing we would do when I worked on the show, is like ask questions as if we don't know Beetlejuice isn't a real guy. And like sometimes people would think it was funny, and sometimes people would just be like, he's not a real guy. Like, couldn't.
Instead of like going to get Michael Keaton from his trailer, once the set's ready, they're like, are we all ready to go? Okay, great. Beetlejuice. So it just pops. It's like, we're good. We're good to go whenever you are.
Got it.
Yeah. Beetlejuice doing the Christian Bale freak out at lighting guy. Yeah. Good stuff. I don't know. The interviews I've seen with Robert Pattinson, I've liked. I think he
seems like a cool guy. I want to in my heart believe that if he were, somehow subjected to my local comedy show on on the CW affiliate in Austin, if his star had somehow fallen so dramatically that he was a person we were interviewing, that he would be down to do our stupid bit.
Yeah.
I want to believe that based on this. He seems like a cool guy.
I love actors who are grumps, and they're rare because being an actor requires such like naive, unbridled optimism, like to become that, to make that your life, that you don't get a lot of people who are like, everything sucks, because they would just be like, why the fuck would I ever in what world would I make it as an actor? Yeah. Well,
your Harrison Fords, etc.
I don't know. Who cares? It's like, dude, you're in every single major sci-fi franchise. Like, I'm sorry to tell you, like nobody made you do this.
He wants to get out of the interview so he can go crash a plane. I got a plane to crash today.
All right, so the Red Hulk is like, who gives a shit? It's like, all right,
Let's
I mean,
the famous story about him is like he was a carpenter and a weed dealer for a lot of famous people in Los Angeles, and then people went to see Star Wars and they were like, why is my weed dealer in this? Like, they didn't even know he was an actor. They were like, he built my kitchen. Why is he in this?
This guy's pretty cool in this. Okay.
Yeah. So, anyway, number one.
And this week's number one reason to say what a time to be alive.
Number one this week comes to us from Young Hot Lang Sin in the Discord. And it's just another more bad news for humans who are thinking that they're pretty good at stuff. More news that we're worse at everything than we thought. But that's fine. That's all we need.
I get news of that about myself every day.
Look around, everybody.
From everyone on the street. They yell at me. What are you doing?
You suck.
So it's basically it's Caltech scientists have found they've quantified kind of the processing speed of the human brain, and it is 10 bits per second, which is, I can tell you as a nerd, unbelievably slow. Like crazy. Basically,
Like,
a
has
computer
any
would be
computer
considered.
ever been that slow?
I think most computers are doing more than that while they're off, while they're in sleep mode. It's like, because there's also like, we're not even talking about bits, bits and bytes. So 10 bits is less than, I think, a byte, or it is 1 byte. It's like, that's unbelievable. Yeah. Like, I think pretty much anything with a screen on it is faster than that.
A calculator.
Yeah.
Definitely faster than
Calculator, 100%. Yeah. So like, it's, I mean, I think we've sort of known this where, I think at this point we know enough about like the brain versus like technology. I mean, I'm thinking of the Daft Punk song. That's why I got stuck. I was thinking technologic.
You had a momentary like brain lapse.
His brain
where you
can't
were
process it
for a second.
Yeah. I'm working
Your
at 10 bits a
switched
second
to
here.
French for a minute.
But it's like, that the human brain specialty is not speed. That's not what maybe it's more of a lateral, more agility kind of advantage. It's just, incredibly slow. They did some experiments. They had people read, write, solve Rubik's Cubes, played video games, and basically just tried to track how quick people were doing it. And this is Professor, God, my brain. Professor Marcus Meester.
You got to reboot this guy.
Yeah. Professor.
He's going 9 bits.
Yeah, I'm dropping bits. Professor Marcus Meester is the guy one of the scientists, Mr. Meester, one of the scientists. He's a Meester. He ran this in the Abbey. It's him in the
lady with the air conditioner that fell on her in Happy Gilmore is referring to this guy.
And he admitted of the result, this is an extremely low number. So
we're very disappointed.
Yeah. And it basically said that like there's a lot of interesting stuff here that we've built our environment. Humans have built the way we live to accommodate how slow we are at figuring shit out. Which I think that the thing is that this is just kind of organic speeds. These are just how we're moving. Like we're only comparing it to...
I feel like it's unfair to be like, oh, we built our environment for how slow. We're faster than any other animal at playing a video game. So like... Oh, yeah. It's more like we've built things that go faster, not that we've built our environment to accommodate us going slower.
Yeah. It's like...
Fuck you, Mr. Meester, is what I'm saying.
No, that's the thing. It's like, oh, this is only slow because of the computers we invented. Like
we invented with our 10 bits per second.
Yeah. It takes a while to build an abacus, but we built it. And then you can do it faster. You can count to 10 or whatever you use an abacus.
That's what's inside my computer, right? Is a bunch of tiny abacuses.
Yep.
That's how it works.
I mean, almost, right? It's just flipping all of stuff to 1 and 0. I don't know. We don't need to go into that.
It's a lot of little switches.
Yeah. Incredible amount of switches. So, it's 10 bits a second. This is another thing that this has gone into the thing that has been like, this has been reinforced up a billion times. I'm a big proponent of this. I'm like, is that just like multitasking is not a thing. We can't do it. And everyone who's like, I'm a good multitasker is just doing multiple things badly at the same time. But with this kind of actual quantity of speed they're like, yeah, you really can't. Like, absolutely. You're already kind of we're already slow at stuff. You cannot be doing two things at the same time, or you're going to an absolute crawl.
I do feel like this doesn't encompass like it makes sense for like a pop science article. It makes sense for like designing an experiment where you could come up with a number like this, but I feel like it doesn't really account for like most of I just feel like I do so much thinking when I'm not actively devoting conscious thought to things. Like a lot of times if I have like a problem or something and I just leave it alone for a couple days and let it sort of be in the background, I'll end up figuring it out without like, okay, now I need to sit down and figure this out. You know what I mean? Because it's just like in there. I don't know how to I don't think that's necessarily the same thing as multitasking.
It's working through stuff. It's a lot of stuff on the back burner. A lot of that happens. I was reading about it, a lot of that happens during sleep. It's a lot of like, and especially emotional stuff. Apparently that's part of it is like when something really emotional happens, that's why sleeping on it does help, is because your brain literally like calms it down and sands off the edges and is like, okay, now we can deal with this, which is also why people who sleep, it's not a coincidence that people with grind set 4 or 5 hours sleep a night are like very swingy and emotionally can be emotionally unstable.
I just feel like for problems, for emotional stuff, even for like creative stuff, when I'm just like, oh, I have like an idea for a joke, but I don't quite know how to like crack it. A lot of times it's easier for me to just be like, to have it in mind and not work on it for a while. And then I'm like, okay, now I'm going to sit down and do it. And then it comes out really quickly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's also, it should be said, it's interesting that this is the speed of, this is for the nerds, this is our single threaded speed. This is like, this is the thing of like sitting down to do a crossword and 100%.
Yeah.
Where, I think that is the thing, is like the lateral ability of human brains, but also our senses and our organs are way faster than this. So it's like, this doesn't have to do with like reaction speed or whatever.
It's specific, like task-based.
Yeah, your
like,
organs can send
focus.
a lot of information. Unfortunately, it seems that the brain can't. The brain's got a pretty big backlog on stuff. So yeah, but I mean, this is, and the multitasking thing drives me crazy because it's just so many people just lie about that, and it's just like, especially if you work with someone who's like a self described multitasker, it's just like, I feel like you're always getting wrong shit from them or like half-assed,
getting a lot of emails with like missing words.
Yeah. I'm operating at 100% capacity. Okay, well, you sent this to the wrong person and it's also misspelled. There's a great I feel like I've recommended it on this podcast before, but there's like it might be a Mythbusters where they test people trying to drive and multitask or whatever, and it's just people running over traffic cones, just like trying to do something else and just mowing down a line of traffic cones. So
every time it just happened to me because I was back home in New Hampshire, like when I'm in a car and not driving and thus am free to look out the window at other people who are driving, it makes me never want to be on a road again because it's crazy. People are not paying attention. Yeah. No one is paying attention. No, everyone is watching TikToks while they drive.
Yeah, it's terrifying to think about. It's one of those things you just have to file away because it's like, it doesn't matter how safe you drive. You're as safe as the least safe driver. It's not going to be the fucking
log truck. It's going to be some asshole texting. Yeah. That's what's going to get you.
Mm-hmm. And this is, so yeah, they've laid it out. And they're also... Apparently, it's somewhat disappointing for people that have been trying to build kind of virtual brains, not AI, I guess, is different, brain-computer interfaces. And so they were like, are those going to be 10 bits a second? Because that's not going to be of much use to us, anything. I'm trying to think of a comparison.
Yeah, because if you put a chip in your brain that went faster, would it just like totally overwhelm you and be incomprehensible? Because you're like, this is going too fast. I got to get a 10 bit per second.
I mean, I
chip?
think
You
think
would
it
be threatened by Robert De Niro's goons. We've already figured this out. Okay?
Yeah.
There's a movie about this. It's not a chip. It's a pill, but we all know, and it made you really good at stocks.
I was trying to tranquilize the bear, but I accidentally gave it that pill.
The Limitless pill? That's
I
not.
gave
You
it the
can't give. If you give a
Limitless
bear a
pill.
Limitless pill, you are in trouble.
Yeah, big time
The
problem.
bear's gonna like start looking handsomer, as you know, get like a better look, and then also be able to hit on women very effectively, and get rich in the stock market. And
It's going to be the most charismatic.
And then, of
bear.
course, go into politics. That's the obvious
Careful,
thing to
that
do.
bear is limitless.
Yeah,
That's the best thing
problem.
the best thing about that movie is that like I have all these abilities. There's only one thing for me to do: go into local politics. It's like, oh brother, you become okay, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think it's like it's the equivalent of like if you set up your computer or whatever, where it was like to open the terminal and then do like one thing in Photoshop and watch it actually. It just like it would look. It's the Matrix. Everything just is the Matrix. Like we can't. Yeah, Neo was able to think at 15 bits a second, and that gave him complete control over the world. For some comparison here, I tried to do it. So we think at 10 bits per second. I just got a hard drive that like to copy something onto it or off of it to read write. That hard drive operates at 56 billion bits per second. So it is like truly like
Is that more than 10?
What? It is
that's
slightly
more than
more. It's almost twice as much.
Damn.
Yeah. If a computer operated at 10 bits per second, it would be trash. It would be like.
I mean, I guess it makes sense
waste.
because it's like, okay, you're trying to read to that hard drive or like write to that hard drive. So you're copying data. It takes me a lot longer. Like, okay, yeah, I'm going to copy a movie for you. Like, yeah, it's going to take a long time.
It's going to take me a really long time to copy this movie. I
Right.
mean, you see that when you
Even like writing or something, like even something as simple as that. Like, yeah, it's going to take me a really fucking long time compared to a computer.
Yeah.
To copy this.
Well, transcription, like
Right.
transcription is like you need to be good at that, and like most people can't record
whole
at the
job.
speed of regular conversation. Like what's going on? Yeah, I think it's good. Probably, I bet if we operated a high, we would, it would just be like crushing. I would, your head would explode. It's nice to just be chilling. It's kind of nice to know that we're
Yeah.
living a slower life than we think, absorbing
yeah,
stuff.
I agree.
Yeah. So yeah, your brain's slow. Sorry. Don't
Tough
text and
luck.
drive.
Don't text and drive.
Give me a break, Doc. My brain's only operating at 10 bits a second here.
Exactly. Plugs.
Y'all ready for this?
Find our Patreon bonus episodes, merch, Discord, and more at whatatimepod.com. And follow us on Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram at whatatimepod. Check out Kath's other podcast, Lie, Cheat, and Steal, about liars, frauds, thieves, and bullshitters. Theme song by Naughty Professor. Thanks for listening, and best of luck.
Eli, go first.
Hey, if you are listening to this on Monday, this Saturday is Sick Ass Panther at Red Baron Inc. Please come to that. I'll be trying to run some of my special at it. Also, Josh Gondleman, friend of the pod, was just added. Tickets are available. Just go to my Instagram, Chili's Restaurants. There's a link there. And then also my special is on the 24th of January at the Gutter. 2 shows, 7:30 and 9:30. Pretty soon. Go grab your tickets. The early show is more than half sold out, but the late show still has more. There are more tickets available. I don't want it to be like there's none for the second show. There have been some sold, but yeah, get on that. And if you buy a ticket to one, I'll give you a ticket for free to the other. Just message me on Instagram or whatever. That's it.
I don't have any shows right now, but I would like to extra plug Lie, Cheat, and Steal, which I think has been very good lately. We've been doing that show for a really long time, and I feel like we have continually improved it, and I feel like it's really good right now, and I'm really proud of the episodes we've been doing. So go check out Lie, Cheat, and Steal if you have never done that. And also, if you have checked it out before and been like, I don't like it, try it again, because I feel like it's gotten better. Thanks.
Give us another chance.
Give us another chance. Give it a try. Give it a shot.
Yeah, I got something I'd like to plug. I have started running this kind of social experiment thing online. It's called Adrian Dittman, and you guys should check that out.
Check it out.
The most important thing is it's not Elon Musk, so check that out.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.